I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
I know words, I have the best words.
He took a break from being disruptive to enjoy the company of her male companion. He briefly had a grasp on the situation before ushers returned.
Take a look at the oranges of the... Look, wait. They sacrifice every day for the furniture.
Some words that have been said about you.
Okay. Nazi wine mom, Nazi cave woman.
I don't let name calling bother me or offend me.
This one's from someone across the pond, a daft wanker. That's British for stupid. Lives on a diet of glue sticks. A lower level life form.
Cephahide.
He's a war hero because he was captured.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Left is Right. I am your host, Steve Weekly, with my co-host, Dawn Weekly. And we just let me start by saying, if you are a Trumper or Trump supporter, you're not going to enjoy the show. Probably not what you're going to want to hear. We tend to speak a whole lot of, Dawn tends to speak a whole lot of truth. Me, on the other hand, if I did something solo, you'd probably like it. This week, I would like to start by asking my distinguished co-host, how's it going?
It's going wonderfully. I'm, wonderfully secure in these last few months before the election and before who knows what's going to happen. So it's, bliss right now.
Cool. I mean, let's face it, if we had something on the line because, I'm a middle-aged, white, Caucasian type, light-skinned dude, and you're a middle-aged, white, Caucasian, light-skinned dudette, whatever, crap Trump pulls if he gets elected probably isn't really going to affect us too much. But anybody who doesn't fit that description, you need to get out and you need to go vote. Because the racists are on the rise. And it's disgusting, and we're here to fight it. I want to start the show out with a little bit of a rant. I'm tired of watching the supposedly news entertainment shows talking about how Trump's attacking Biden on his mental competency and Trump is so much sharper and more presidential. Anyone who watched the 1 minute 16-second opening of our show, that is Exhibit A against that argument. The man doesn't know how to speak. That's when he was president. And he's even worse now. The stress has totally just filleted his brain. All
I have to say is shark or battery.
I mean, okay. But I really do want to quit hearing about it. Yes, the right wing is doing all sorts of dirty tricks. They always have. I'm a little perturbed and tired of the right, the left wing being all peace and love, and we got to start pulling out some baseball bats and taking a few whacks at them. But Yeah, that's my rant.
You mean metaphorically?
Metaphorically, yes, of course. I would never call for people to go out and physically harm the demented right-wing douchebags in your, vicinity. By all means, I wouldn't want you to assault them.
Thank you. Just wanted to make that clear.
Yes, that's completely metaphorical, and by all means, go out and don't go out and assault them. But okay. Now on to the real show. This week we have some very cool topics. I think we're going to start with a very distinguished and upstanding gentleman who is a longstanding member of our Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas.
He who should be impeached.
I'm sorry?
He who should be impeached.
Yes.
Mr. Clarence Thomas. So this week he comes out and says, and it comes out, I guess, that, he forgot to put more things on his disclosures. Even more trips. Even more trips.
He just forgot.
And, and it's just so complicated. I don't know how you could expect him to understand the whole system. He's only a Supreme Court justice.
I know.
Everybody knows they're not really too bright.
Apparently. I mean, at least one of them is, completely wiped out most of his brain cells by drinking beer. But,
Yes. So
the other one is a henpecked little, henpecked little hush husband who can't control his wife's flag usage.
Which it came out that the whole excuse of she was upset by somebody else's pride flag, or that it actually turned out that she was flying the upside down flag first before they later had the exchange of words that was given originally as the reason for her hanging the upside down flag. Yeah. So, sure, that happened, but it happened after you had the flag hanging there. So, again, that they're lying because their lips are moving. And even in a Supreme Court justice, it's just disgusting.
Well, I mean, she fits all the prerequisites. I mean, she's rich, she's white, and she's something I'm not going to say on this show. And so all the prerequisites, all the boxes are checked.
For qualification as a Supreme Court judge's wife, or for what?
Oh no, for being a liar.
Oh, for being a liar. Okay.
I mean, me and you would lie constantly. We just don't have enough money.
Yeah, we don't earn enough to be liars.
One box and keeps you from lying.
My income is not high enough to allow me to lie.
Yep. But so Clarence Thomas, even more trips and more bribery. I mean, even more gifts that he failed to report. Do they understand that their credibility is completely shot?
Boy, if they don't, they're not really paying attention.
I mean, at this point, why would anyone listen to them?
I don't think that they care, because I think that they are just part of this class up here. And what this class down here thinks about them doesn't matter. It's just these people up here. That's the only people who matter. These people up here. These people down here, the masses, the rabble. Who cares what the rabble think?
Well, they're going to start to care because the rabble's the one with all the guns and the fucking wackos.
I mean, there's something to be said about that. Yeah.
I mean, your gated community ain't going to keep them out when the rebellion happens. As a matter of fact, that's the first place they're going to go. So they can get all the good stuff.
If I was a rebel, that's where I would go.
I mean, at some point, self-preservation's got to kick in and say, oh, maybe I shouldn't be such an ass.
And because asking, what about the good of the country just isn't a thing that crosses your mind.
Hasn't crossed a politician's mind in 30 years. It's ridiculous.
I don't think that's entirely true, but I think it doesn't cross a lot of people's mind.
True.
Yes.
So you were saying to me earlier that apparently Puerto Rico is going full on Nazi?
No. So in this month's issue of Mother Jones, I was reading about the rise of a new political party in Puerto Rico. And it is, what's it called? Proyecto Dignidad. But it's basically faith-based, and they are running many candidates in Puerto Rico, saying that basically a Christian nationalist type of movement, that we should be ruled by the Bible as opposed to anything else. And the theory being that because the government, such as it is in Puerto Rico, is so corrupt and messed up and inadequate, because we really ignore Puerto Rico, that this contingent, this movement has stepped in to fill the void. When they have had natural disasters, the churches have helped more than governmental agencies. And so that has led to people to have more faith in the churches and things like that, to help them in their ordinary lives.
I don't understand that. When they had that big brouhaha under Trump, I mean, he went down there and threw paper towels at him.
You got paper towels thrown to you. What more do you need?
I know, come on. Who needs electricity? You got paper towels.
Right?
Come on.
Quit being so selfish. Takers. Lazy.
I mean, there's people in this country that would kill for some paper towels. Oh, wait, that's part
Lazy
of this country.
takers. That's all I got to say.
True. Yeah, that's a little disturbing. I mean, yes, understandably, when, if the church is going to be there for you, yeah, you're going to.
But that doesn't mean that it should be the government.
Right.
I mean, that's been tried. That's been tried before. Other religions are running governments, like, Iran and Afghanistan, and it's not going well. It's not a good idea.
Tends to not. It tends to not. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is in the world right now with all the uber nationalism that's going on. Well, I know what it is. Frankly, Paramount's got to get on the ball, and we need a couple more good Star Trek movies and a good series to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will calm down. Everything will calm down. People will start loving each other again. We need that example every week.
Hey, we watch Star Trek on Paramount Plus all the time.
No,
all,
I said
all 20 versions of it.
No. I meant a good new series.
Hey, we're watching all sorts of. We watched the one with the Captain Kirk, with the young Captain Kirk, and we watched the one where it's a cartoon about below decks.
No, that one I've heard is good.
And
yeah, I don't know what's all in that paid streaming thing, and You want me to watch it, you got to put it on free TV. I'm cheap. Sorry.
You cheap ass mofo.
Living in the past. They're good like that.
You only watch over the air TV.
That's right. That's right. I went out and got me one of them super antennas.
Oops.
I ditched the cable for free broadcast TV and never been happier.
Okay. Alrighty then. Sure.
Sure.
Sorry, I can't stop yawning.
No, that's okay. What was the other topic? Oh, you had something you were going to talk about that I was really wanting to hear.
The Juneteenth.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. The example of how stupid and bigoted we've been since time immemorial.
Yeah. In honor of Juneteenth, I thought I would talk about another article that's in the latest issue of Mother Jones magazine, which if you want to subscribe to some worthwhile magazine that is clearly in the know that left is right, you should subscribe to Mother Jones magazine. Very inexpensive. I think it's like $12 a year, or $12 for 6 months or something. And they have great articles.
And it's Mother Jones, right? Not Auntie Jones and not Daddy Jones. It's Mother Jones.
Mother Jones.
Okay. Yeah, I think because Father Jones is a completely different magazine.
Father, what's that British TV series about the priest who's a detective? It's Father. Anyway,
Sorry. I was being stupid, and you went along with me. I'm a little scared.
I
you
have
need to shut that down right away. What happened?
I have ADD, and you know this. Stop it. Okay. So
I got the rest of the alphabet. That's my problem.
So this article is about the promise of 40 acres and a mule, and kind of more in-depth information about how that came about. After the war was over, Sherman rode through the South, the Ogeechee River Low Country, and freed thousands of slaves. And what he did was he made a proclamation, basically, and he set aside a 30-mile wide strip of land that went from basically Jacksonville, Florida, up to Charleston, South Carolina, and it was along the coast. And it's 30 miles wide from the coast inland, 30 miles. And in that land was to be set aside for freedmen, for freed slaves. And they the Freedmen's Bureau, I believe, or the Bureau of Freedmen, basically were giving Freedmen's Bureau were giving titles of land for up between or up to 40 acres to people, and they were claiming bits of land, and then those freed people would farm it, and then they would be the farmer and take the profits, so that that was going along swimmingly for about a year or so. Then Lincoln was assassinated. He was assassinated just after Congress passed legislation that basically ratified what Sherman was doing. And so then when after Lincoln was assassinated, Andrew Johnson became the president. And Andrew Johnson was a white supremacist bastard. He was such a bastard, I tell you. And he basically undid what Sherman was doing and the Bureau of Freedmen was doing. And he pardoned Confederates and then started giving the land back to the Confederate plantation owners who had owned it previously. So after these freedmen had worked the land for a year or two and thought that they were the owners, then Johnson took it away from them again. And they Congress actually then passed more legislation because the original legislation that Congress passed before Lincoln was assassinated, Lincoln didn't sign it. Even though Congress had passed legislation, Lincoln didn't sign it. He was assassinated. So then when it went to Johnson's desk, he vetoed it. And Congress did not have a veto-proof, they couldn't override the veto. So the next year they passed additional legislation, but it was watered down. Instead of giving freedmen up to 40 acres, it was up to 20 acres. And basically they got a title that would allow them to buy the land over time rather than just giving it to them outright. So it was a really watered down version. And let me see, I can't remember, was that one enacted? I think that, by the time that they had taken up that bill, most of the land had been given back already. So that they did override Johnson's veto on that watered down bill, but most of the people had already lost their land back to their plantation owners, to their enslavers. And so they ended up, trying to get jobs and stuff. Most of them refused to work for their former owners, which is good for them. But basically that's the story. It's a more specific Reconstruction story that I wasn't aware of. I wasn't really aware of how all that 40 acres and a mule thing, how that all worked out. I mean, the whole mule thing was, I think that was just alliteration because there was really no mule as part of the deal. But, right. It was originally, reparations, and 30 miles of land, a really small little strip of land, to try to give to people who had been owned as property, and to make up in some way, for the fact that they were owned as property and were now liberated. And Johnson just wouldn't have any of it. No, I can't have any of it. So
it's thoroughly disgusting. The racism just it just doesn't stop, and
white people sucking for a long time.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I do not understand why it has to be like that. I really don't. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, but I guess I'm just too poor to, understand the differences in people.
Well, it's a whole different mindset, thinking that you're somehow special or better than other people, or that some certain types of people are just inferior to you. Other than MAGA people, we know they're inferior to us.
Wow. Willfully misinformed doesn't make them less.
I know.
Beings.
I'm just kidding.
It's the fact that they won't change their way that makes them less human.
They are not inferior. They have just been led astray, misinformed, and they generally think with their hearts instead of their heads. And they feel aggrieved. And so people who are appealing to that feeling have enticed them. And it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't make them inferior. It makes I wish it wasn't so. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, just because they're sheeple does not make them inferior.
Right. And in lots of ways, we're sheeple too.
Oh, completely.
You know, but at least we're.
I mean, are we? Are we?
Are we?
I don't know about that.
I think our kids would definitely say so. Our sons would say so.
Yeah, but I mean,
because everything is broken. There's no reason to vote for anything. Nothing's going to help. It's all broken. So we're just sheeple for thinking that we can do something.
Well, if it's broken, don't you fix it? Or, I mean, the one thing we've never gotten out of them is what's the alternative?
That's true. Yeah, haven't heard that. So
never been informed as to what the alternative is, but that's just, you know.
So I will go with trying to make improvements.
Yes, very much so. Improve.
And trying to think about how to improve this situation, even incrementally, even from the inside, even, even if it means going with the establishment, because it's the establishment who can make the changes. They just need to be properly motivated to do so. And if enough of us get on their butts, they will do it. I mean,
if absolutely nothing else, anybody who's smart will just elect me as a democratic dictator.
Yeah.
And I will fix it in a heartbeat. I will straighten it right out.
Do not listen to anything he says. But just
look at what right all the wrongs.
Just look at what Biden's been doing. So first he tries to appease the right by closing off the border if there's more than 2,500 people a day. And so then that pisses off the left. So now he did the thing he did yesterday, which was say that spouses of American citizens do not have to leave the country to apply to be favored, whatever. He's reacting to public pressure. If we put the pressure on them hard enough, they will do something. We just haven't put on the pressure hard enough.
Well, how do you put the pressure on correctly?
Well, I think with Biden, it's easier because he's really trying hard to win a really tight race. But where we really need to solve the problem is in Congress. And because of Citizens United and the way lobbyists are enmeshed and installed there, and there's so much corrupt influence, I think the only way to really make some changes is to have a blue wave of new people who are not corrupt and then immediately pressure them. You need to do something about guns. You need to do something about reproductive rights. You need to do and just pound them.
The last thing we should do with guns is take care of Congress. I am with you 100%. I mean, that's what you were saying, right?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. And we need to do something about AI, and the environment.
Hey, let's let it take over. See what happens.
Oh my God!
You couldn't do any worse than Trump.
Yes, they could. See, that's the problem. They could. Yeah.
Oh, come on! A couple of Terminators walking around. What's the difference?
No.
That'll be back. Yeah, no, I agree. And it's something that needs to be worked on. I just wish it could get fixed faster.
Yeah, and they keep talking about well, we can't stop progress. We can't stop progress. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Do we have to use the AI that's been developed so far? Is there any reason that has to continue? Why do you keep writing programs for AI? I was watching an interview with this British guy who worked at Google and like invented AI. I don't remember who he was. And he was saying, about we can't stop and we need to put regulations on and stuff. And it's like, well, but wait, can't they just stop writing programs? Can't
Right.
they just stop that? I mean, it's not like alive on its own. It's not like a plant over there in the corner that's living on its own.
Right.
It's a program that gets written, and you can delete a program. You can not write the next program.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm kind of.
Well, the tech lobby is a crazy problem all of its own, because they are, if you think Trumpers are deluded, tech people are so much more deluded and listen so much less, because it's the exact same problem. They're just in a world of their own and they don't listen to anything else.
So Sherry says that there are many good things that AI can and will do, and I understand that. And that's what the British inventor who worked at Google of AI was saying. But my question is, when the potential downside is the elimination of humanity, is it worth whatever good it can do? Because
absolutely, it's been far too long. We should eliminate humanity altogether.
Because that good will be eliminated when humanity is eliminated, so it becomes a nullity. So
I don't know. Are you sure about that?
Hey, I'm on a rant now. So
humanity's had a good run.
Stop it. So can't we put the brakes on AI until we figure out a fail-safe? I mean, that was the one thing he was talking about, was a fail-safe. Putting a fail-safe in so we can prevent it from eliminating humanity.
Well, yeah.
And then we can have it do all the good things that it can do. Great. Molto bueno, you have at it. But until that's done, I think they should stop.
Well, I think they should at least put the brakes on.
Yes.
Let's face it, there is a fail-safe, technically. It's called an on-off switch.
but
it's just a computer. If it does something you don't want it to do, shut it the F off.
But it's programs that they've like sent out into the internet and things.
Okay, well, shut them all off.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could go for that for like 2 days while they fix it.
I don't know, but I just keep getting.
Let's face it. I am a Comcast customer, so I'm used to losing my internet all the time. And I think that everybody could stand that every now and
then. And then Sherry also says that AI can only do what it's programmed to do. But isn't it the whole point that it does more than it's programmed to do? It learns and then like does its own thing by learning.
As of right now, she's right. It only does what it's programmed to do. The problem is they are messing with things that is all of a sudden going to become sentient overnight, and they're not going to be
Bob's your uncle.
And then they're not going to be able to stop and control it. That's the fear.
Yeah.
That's the fear. And being that AI is programmed by humans and the human nature is as it is, the fear is very, it's smart to be afraid in that instance.
Because human nature on the internet is a very, very dark, very, very nasty thing. It's disgusting.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody loves everybody on the internet. It's a big love fest.
Yeah.
We just must not go. We just must not visit the same web pages.
I don't think that we do. I'm on the dark web. Where are you?
Oh my God. Jesus, Conrad, don't admit that in open forum. Oh my God.
Well, I don't even know what the dark web is or how to get there. I'm just.
Yeah, right.
I don't. So boat or shark? Boat battery or shark? I'm not sure which one.
Well, wait a minute. Here, AI does have a mind of its own. Programmers are in the middle.
Okay.
I got you. I see what you're saying.
For right now.
Yeah.
But the fear is that it will take off on its own and become sentient. Right?
Correct. Well, I mean, I agree. Well, now that we can, our AI overlord has deemed us it's time to take our commercial break. And in the meantime, Dawn's going to go into computer re-education program. So when she comes back, she'll be able to give us a review of our keep on with our series on Project 2025. And we'll be right back.
Every day we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
In a world where the future can seem uncertain, there's one place you can turn to for guidance and peace of mind. Legacy Law Firm, owned and operated by attorney Dawn Weekly. With attorney Weekly's expertise in elder law, you can trust that your family's legacy is in capable hands.
At Legacy Law Firm, we understand the importance of planning for the future, whether it's drafting a will, navigating Medicaid, or protecting your assets. We're here to help.
Attorney Weekly made the process seamless and stress-free.
Her knowledge and dedication are truly exceptional.
Don't leave your family's future to chance. Contact Legacy Law Firm today and schedule your consultation with attorney Dawn Weekly. Legacy Law Firm, helping you build a lasting legacy from one generation to the next.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
And welcome back to the show. Our AI overlords have deemed us ready to pass the re-education program, and we can continue our show. Although the next time Dawn causes me to get an anal probing like that, I'm going to be upset with her.
You liked it, you know it.
Yeah, but they didn't let me have a cigarette afterwards.
Oh.
Now, onto our continuing series, onto the fascist program called 2025 or Project 2020, whatever. You know, it's some wacko right-wing.
Way to blow it.
Manifest.
Project 2025.
I don't have a script. Leave me alone.
Project 2025 is a
fascist manifesto. Oh, sorry.
Is a road block. No, it's not a roadblock. It's a path to conservative utopia. Basically, it was written by different collaborators through the Heritage Foundation. Is 900 pages long. And so to recap, they basically have distilled down their vision into 4 promises. The first promise is to restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and protect children. The promise number 2 is to dismantle the administrative state in favor of governance. Promise number 3, defend our borders. Promise number 4, secure individual rights to live freely. And those all sound wonderful, but what do they mean?
Well, I do have one thing to say.
Yes.
If they do step number 2 and dismantle everything, steps 1, 3, and 4 can't happen.
Well, yeah. So disagree with their philosophy in general, but I want to see the particulars of what they are talking about. And so they do use a lot of loaded language. Like they say that the centralized political power, which is what they are calling the way government is set up now, which it really isn't. They say that it replaces people's natural loves with unnatural loves, because
nothing gets me harder for another guy than watching government.
Watching C-SPAN.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm dating my boyfriend, I watch C-SPAN constantly. Oh, the evenings it causes. Oh my.
And they make dubious claims such as that fatherlessness causes mental illness and teen suicides. Now there is, I believe that there is some evidence that it is related to increased poverty, increased crime, drug abuse. But I'm not sure mental illness. I'm not sure there's any causation with mental illness, but they assert that there is. And they believe that they can use government to reverse the problem of fatherlessness.
How are they going to do that if they get rid of the bureaucracy?
Well, it is kind of contradictory, because they don't really want to completely eliminate the administrative state, but they want to turn it on its head.
They just want to change what the IRS does. Instead of collecting taxes, they're going to be making sure that each family has a father.
No. Good guess, though. They believe that having work requirements for TANF, temporary assistance for needy families, which will solve this problem.
Hasn't yet, even though there is one.
And sad news, guys. in many states, including Illinois, there already is a work requirement to get TANFs. But and basically, they say that they want to use the tax code to restore the family, and I'm not sure what that means. But they also believe that by deleting certain words from federal legislation and grants and regulations, that will somehow solve a problem. So if there's any regulation or legislation or grant that contains the words sexual orientation, gender identity, DEI, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness, gender sensitive, abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights, those words would all just be stricken out of the legislation or regulation or whatever it is. Just strike those words out and eliminate them. Problem solved.
Now, do they stipulate, do those words need to be removed individually or as, a group? Because if you remove each of those words individually, I mean, our language will start to sound a little bit funny.
Yeah, they don't specify.
Okay.
So I guess it's up to somebody else.
Part of that bureaucracy that they're going to get rid of.
Yes. So that's how they focus on the family, that's how they're going to focus on the family, making work requirements and changing words. Because
they have the best words.
Oh, and obviously universal school choice, basically eliminating public schools and having private schools. That will really make the family something. Then promise 2 was dismantling the administrative state. This is where a lot of their most interesting ideas are. And again, some of the premises upon which they build this argument are not factually sound.
Are you saying that they could be described as flimsy?
I'm kind of saying that, yeah. It's flimsy. Because, for instance, they say that the EPA has strangled domestic energy production, but we're at record high levels of energy production in this country.
Yeah, but just because it's record high doesn't mean that it's not strangled. Can you imagine how high that could be if we would unstrangle it?
And they say that the Department of Homeland Security helps migrants criminally enter the country. And I don't think
that's what it was designed for, was to coyote people across the border. It's the Department of Homeland Coyote Security. It's headed by Wile E. Coyote.
Mm-hmm. And the Department of Education injects racist, anti-American, ahistorical propaganda to teach our children to hate the country.
Absolutely. By all means.
Yes. And the military force is training about white privilege.
True. Get rid of the military then.
Yeah. And so they're that's their premises. Some of their solutions, their basic solution is to eliminate. Right now, we've got the civil service, and the Civil Service Act was brought about. I think it was the assassination of Garfield, because somebody was promised
somebody assassinated that cute orange cat.
No.
The poor guy just liked to eat lasagna. Leave him alone.
No. William Henry
Well, I
Garfield.
didn't know what his first name was.
President Garfield.
Okay. Sorry.
It was a disgruntled person who was promised a patronage job because workers in the government used to be patronage jobs, meaning you support whoever the candidate is, and when the candidate gets elected, you get a job, whether you're qualified or not. You get a job just because you supported them. It's a payback for supporting them. It's quid pro quo.
Makes perfect sense.
And so we eliminated that system and installed the civil service system, whereby you're a civil servant and you're hired regardless of your political leanings, but you're hired based on your expertise and knowledge and that kind of thing. And you work there as your career. It's not in and out as the administrations turn over. Somebody works at the Bureau of Tobacco and Firearms for 20 years, regardless of who the president is. That's their job. They work there. And they're basically, they want to undo that and go back to a patronage system, at least in the upper echelons. It seems like the clerical worker who's really far down the ladder, yeah, maybe leave them as a career employee, fine. But the managers above them, who are now civil servants, they want that layer and all the layers in between there and the president, all those layers would be patronage jobs. So they are all united to enact the president's
to support mein Führer.
Yeah, to support the president's program and enact the president's program, and to work around whatever safeguards are in place at the present time, norms and customs that are in place under the civil service system. They want to have political appointees who will work around that, so that the administrative agencies that right now have expertise and write regulations that interpret and enact the legislation that Congress passes, they don't want that. They want Congress to have to write the regulations as well as pass the law. Cool. Because they have so little to do that they would have time for that, number one.
I mean, they haven't done anything in 4 years so far.
Yeah. And but that's and so they've got a lot of in the Project 2025. It goes through like all the different offices and all the different departments and all the different. I mean, it is filled with acronyms like you would not believe. I kept having to go back previous pages and go, what's an RSO mean again? Because it's just
threw the whole alphabet at it is what you're
saying.
Oh
my God, yes, and they want to also use the budget as a cudgel to enact the president's program, whatever the president's program is, because they want to have political appointees specifically in the Office of Management and Budget, and rather than only being involved when there's an expenditure at stake, they would be involved in everything. And if some administrative agency is trying to do something that doesn't align with the president's program, the Office of Management and Budget could say, no, you can't do that because you're not, no, you can't do that. That's basically the gist of it. So that is promise number 2, the administrative state. Promise number 3 is defense of our borders. And I actually, in this section, there are some things that they say that I agree with, such as unfettered trade with China has been a catastrophe. I would agree. They rail against big tech and its pursuit of profit over values. I also agree with that. I disagree that it was elites, intellectual elites that were behind that. I think it was actually corporations.
Just greed. Corporations
and corporate greed. Yeah. It's not the fact that they're elites. It's the fact that it's a corporation, and corporation's one and only purpose is to turn a profit and pay a dividend to shareholders. There's no values involved in that. A corporation is a psychopathic organization because it has no empathy. It doesn't care anything about humans at all. It's just their one and only objective is to turn a profit. But the one thing that they talked about was that they want to rip out the tree root, and they want to rip out the tree root and branch. So I'll be interested to see what the further detail for that is. But so as part of defending the borders and this free trade, this trade problem, they want to end all international organizations and agreements that we currently have. That they say erode our Constitution. I'm not sure what that means or who decides that. And they want to end trade with China, outlaw TikTok, take away accreditation from universities that take money from China, and but restore manufacturing and industrial base. That sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct, but Lord only knows. The things we agree with are good ideas. The problem is how would they implement it? That's the problem.
Yeah, and we're not to that drilled down to that level yet. But Promise 4 being what was Promise 4 again? Securing individual rights to live freely. And as we've discussed, the pursuit of liberty and happiness is founded in family, marriage, and children, Thanksgiving dinners, and the like.
Okay.
Oh, that's just ridiculous. But basically, it rails against socialist countries, and says that, and rails against elites who are in charge. Education should happen outside of public schools. Defend First Amendment rights for everybody. Unite against elite rule and woke cultural warriors. And basically that's how you'll be able to live free, because you'll have First Amendment rights. And you can rail against wokeism, etc.
It sounds like they just sat around a table and said, let's throw a little bit of stuff in here from everybody and put it out and see what happens. A little bit of Mein Kampf, a little bit of libertarianism, a little something out of the KKK manual.
Well, and the only chapter I have left for section 1 is chapter 3 on central personnel agencies. I haven't gotten to that yet, but they do say that the professional career civil service, it was meant to guard against partisan influence. Well, they don't want to do that. They want to have partisan influence, and they want to make it happen that way.
Okay. Well,
so I'll have to give you more information on that. But this particular chapter was I believe it was written by a person who can't write very well, and I'm having a really hard time trying to understand what they're trying to convey. It's a lot of gobbledygook, basically. So that would conclude Section 1, which they call Taking the Reins of Government. And the next section is the Common Defense, where they start talking about the Department of Defense, Homeland Security, State Department Intelligence. And then Section 3 is General Welfare, which should probably be interesting again. But so next, we'll be talking about the Common Defense. And so I'll be getting more specifics on what their ideas are for defense, a common defense.
Well, I mean, looking forward to you breaking it down. I mean, unfortunately for them, all of their arguments are easily defeated. They're
not based in fact.
I am not an intellectual giant, and I was able to tackle the majority of what they have to say.
Yeah, it's not based in fact. They just assert these things as if they're true, but based on what? I don't even know.
Pie in the sky. But, well, thank you for that, Don. Looking forward to our continuing breakdown of Project 2025. But we have come to the
end of our radio.
Best part of the show, and that is the solution segments. And the solution that we've been hyping the most is the national popular vote. With this, we can get rid of the electoral college, and therefore make it much easier to get
whoever wins the national vote and whoever wins the popular vote wins.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we can get rid of Citizens United and start fixing some stuff.
Right.
So by all means, go to www.nationalpopularvote.com. You will see the link under us, going back and forth down here. Visit there and try to get the petition signed to get that taken care of.
Yes.
One of the other solutions that you found was the Turnout Pack, sending postcards to inmates just sending postcards telling people to vote. And
right now, I think they're concentrating on the Ohio contest for Sherrod Brown's seat. He's up against a used car salesman who's very Trumpy. His name is Moreno.
Well, I mean, if man can sell a car, he can run a country. Just saying.
But just trying to get people, involved and understand that this Moreno guy he had several car dealerships, but he's also had several employment cases against him where he underpaid people and didn't pay them their overtime and shady stuff like that. So
yeah, he's a freaking used car salesman. Yeah.
Yeah.
The normal feelings you get from a used car salesperson.
But I believe that that's the campaign that they're focusing on right now.
Awesome. Well, once again, an hour has come and has gone. I hope that you enjoyed the hour. I hope it was entertaining. Please, by all means, visit us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Left is Right. We also YouTube at leftisright_2024. By all means, drop us a line. Let us know what you think. You can email us at leftisright2024@gmail.com. And give us an idea of what you're thinking. And if you have any ideas for the show other than get rid of me because it was my idea, so I'm sticking around. Sorry. But, whatever ideas you've got, we will listen to them. We may not implement them, but we will listen to them. So by all means, let us know what you're thinking. As for me, thank you for watching. And as for my co-host, Sister Q.
Oh, yes. Thanks for spending time with us.
Yes. Don't worry, she's going to go back to the AI re-education, and we will have her fixed for next week. Beep, beep, bop, boop, bop, beep, 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 bop.
I am not a robot.
All right. Well, thank you for watching, folks, and we will see you all next week at 8 o'clock. Central.
I needed money, cause I had none. I fought the law, and the law won.
I just wanted to say, look, welcome to the end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th, but we will endeavor to get rid of it.
I never talked this way about him. You probably know. Until I got, who is this Isaiah friend? You can get him out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go ahead, you can throw him out.
I need